Hi, my name is Kayla, and I'm going to be going over exception reports today. Walmart lost approximately $30 billion in 2022 due to fraud. Have you ever wondered how companies lose so much money due to fraud every year? Companies lose an estimated 5% of revenue yearly. Walmart had a revenue of $573 billion in 2022, equating to a $30 billion loss, as I previously stated. In order to lessen the effects of fraud, companies will use control procedures. One of the control procedures that a lot of companies use is something called an exception report. Well, you might ask, what is an exception report? An exception report is a document that states occurrences in which actuals stray considerably from expectations. So, for example, you're asked to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Well, you make a peanut butter sandwich. So that's a lighthearted example, not a very real example, but that strayed far from what you were expected to do. AKA, Mary purchases $50 worth of goods, but instead she purchases $75 worth. That would be the same as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but only having peanut butter on it. So, how does an exception report work, you might ask? Well, you do one, as the definition states, when something strays from what it should have been. This prevents fraud that otherwise might have seeped through the cracks. So, supervisors, managers, people above get really busy, and some things can just slip right through. This also mitigates second person reviewer. No person at the top wants to have to review every single person beneath them's every little thing. So, they have expectations, and when those aren't being met, then an exception report can be done. So, there's still a second person reviewer, but for not every last little thing. So, we're going to go more into depth with an example. So let's say Jane Doe is a bookkeeper for Kayla's ice cream shop. She is responsible for purchasing necessary goods in order to keep the company running. Let's say that Jane, on average, buys 10 gallons of ice cream a month, 5 things of caramel syrup, 5 things of Hershey syrup, and 7 cans of maraschino cherries. The following month, let's say April, she purchases 30 gallons of ice cream and 27 cans of syrup. So, this strays very far from the average. So, Kayla is going to go in and approve that and see, why is this the exception to what is normally done? Is this a summer month where we're using a lot more ice cream than usual? Have our sales increased in the past month? Anything like that. So, yeah, or is it potentially fraud where she's charged $5,000 onto the credit card, but the invoice only shows $3,000? So, there's someone above her needing to review that transaction. So Jane isn't having to have every single purchase order approved by Kayla. She's just having to do the ones that might be the exception. So ultimately, does Walmart want to lose $30 billion in revenue in the year of 2023? If not, the use of exception reports would be an amazing control procedure for them to consider because it helps prevent fraud and avoids needing a second person to review every little thing, like in the Jane Doe example. If you have any questions, you can comment them below. Thank you so much for listening.